Hi, George here, and in this Photoshop Elements Combine 2 Images video, I'll be showing you two different ways to combine two photos together into one composition. The first one will be this soft edge vignette look right here, and the second one is more of a cartoony kind of look right there. Both of these give the idea that this girl here is thinking about where she'd like to be instead of where she is right now. Okay, let's go ahead and see how this is all done. I'll start off by just getting rid of these layers in here, get us back to the basic layer. The first thing I want to do is to adjust the values in this picture. It's a little washed out. So let's go up here to Layer, come down to New Adjustment Layer and Levels. Choose OK. You see how the blacks are quite a ways away from the actual black point. So I'll grab the black point, I'll pull that in, and that should richen up all the colors. And I'm bringing it in just inside of where the first major spike is here on the black. That should be pretty good. And I'll do the same thing on the right side. This is the white values. I'll just bring those in a bit, makes it a bit brighter. So basically, I'm increasing the contrast at both ends of the value spectrum. I'll leave the midtones alone. You could play with that if you wanted to, but I'll leave that at the standard, which is just 1, just like that. Okay, that's taken care of. Let's now bring in our second picture. And I have that right up here. It's just a picture of some tropical beach. Drag and drop that in like that, real easy. And if you don't have floating windows activated inside of your copy of Photoshop Elements, it's easy. It's up here at the Edit menu and Preferences right here and General. This is checkbox right there, Allow floating documents in advanced mode. That's normally off. Go ahead and just click that on. And while you're here, if you have a scroll wheel on your mouse, you may want to do zoom with scroll wheel as well. Also very useful. Choose OK. All right, let's now go ahead and find a good size for this. Now I can't really see what's going on behind that, so let's go up here to opacity. And let's bring our opacity down somewhere about halfway. That way I can then see that image in the background and make sure I'm not overlapping onto the girl's picture. And we'll just maximize it about here. Now I have a horizon line right here. I'm going to put that horizon line on the edge of the lake. That's where the water meets the land right there. So it kind of coincides with that. And we can then bring our opacity back up to 100% again. We now need to have a layer mask in here to give us that nice oval shape. So for that, click on Layer Mask. This is a white layer mask. Let's now make a selection in here. Go up to Select, grab the marquee selection, set this at the elliptical marquee, and then don't do any feathering here. You don't want that. And come down a little ways. I'm not going right to the edge because I want to have some room for some fading in here. So I'll come in just a little ways like that, and I'll pull it down to the bottom right-hand corner, again, staying a little ways away from that edge. Just like that. That's good. Now I want to invert this selection. Go up to Select, Inverse. So the outside is now selected. Make sure that you have black in the foreground right here, just like that. Grab the paint bucket and click inside, and that then gives us a layer mask in that shape. Control D to deselect. Now all we have to do is just to soften up that edge, and that's easy to do. Make sure you're on the layer mask side. Look for that light blue outline. It should be there already. Go up to Filter, come down to Blur, grab the Gaussian blur, and then bring that up until you have a nice blur that you like. And I have mine pretty high on this. The actual blur pixel size will depend upon the size of your image. But for this picture, that looks pretty good. Just soft enough in there. Choose OK. And there we go. That's version 1. We'll need to come in and combine two images to make a new composition. Okay, for our second technique, we need to have a graphic for that thought bubble. So come down to Graphics. And in here, this is normally on backgrounds like that. Just change this to shapes right down here. And in shapes, it'll be just like that at the top. Just scroll way, way down. It's almost near the bottom down here. And you'll find these different speech bubbles. And I'll take this one right here. It's kind of a thought bubble. I like that one. It says thought 14. There's also a thought 13, which has just smooth edges, but I'll go with the cloud edges instead. Just put that right there. Go back to layers. And I want to flip this. So it's image, rotate, and flip layer horizontal. And then grab the bottom corner and pull this out to get the size that you want. If you hold the Shift key down, you actually can change the ratio of this. And I'll put it just about like that. There we go. So let's put this right here. We now need to put our picture inside of this. I'll bring that back up again. And I have that right here. And if you want to play with this with the same pictures, I will put links for these pictures in the description. Okay, so just drag this over like that. And then you want this big enough so it covers up that thought bubble. Easy way again is just to bring the opacity down, and we can then see exactly where that is. So it's just covering the bottom one down here. Let's position that palm frond or the palm tree, and that looks pretty good. Okay, let's bring our opacity back up again. And now on this layer 2, right-click and come down to Create Clipping Mask, and that puts it inside of whatever's on the layer just below that. There we go. So we have our picture inside of that thought bubble. And then come down to Shape 1. This is the thought bubble right here. And let's put an outline around this. And that's Layer. And come down to Layer Style, Style Settings, and Stroke right here. Click on the color swatch. Let's go upper left-hand corner. That's a pure white. And then bring the size up. And there we go. Choose OK. There's our thought bubble way of combining these two images. Now the horizon line doesn't match this back here. Let's select both of those layers. If I pull this up so that it just matches, you can kind of get that. So you get that same horizon idea right in there, just like that. Make sure you have both layers selected, because if you don't, you'll have this happen. But that's also useful, I suppose. You can move that around and see what you want, because we're moving just the shape and not what's inside of the shape. And I actually think that's a bit better, but we then have the problem down here where we're losing our imagery in that bottom thought bubble. So keep that in mind. And there we go. And if you enjoyed this video, but you want to learn a lot more about how to use Photoshop Elements, I have a great beginner's course for this that actually gets up into some intermediate stuff as well. And I'll put a link for that at the top of the description. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time.